right, let's talk about tax year 2022 Form 1099 NEC filings. And whether you work as an independent contractor or freelancer, or you hire someone in your business, you need to know about this form. This form is used to report any payment you make to non-employees, including freelancers, independent contractors, or sole proprietors who provide services to you during the tax year. So what is this Form 1099 NEC? Form 1099 NEC used to be part of the 1099 miscellaneous, but in 2020, the IRS separated this form. So you basically report the payment you make to a non-employee during the year on this form, and let the IRS know that how much you pay for services to anybody who is not an employee of your business. So this everybody, including individuals, partnerships, LLCs, sole proprietors, and some corporation. So most of the corporation, you don't have to issue 1099 NEC to them. Let's say you pay a corporation come into your business and help you on something such as maintenance, cleaning the office, but it was a corporation you hire and you pay them $600 or more for the service. You may not need to file the 1099 NEC. You're not required because they are a corporation. So let's go over this form quickly. So this is overall the form. You can see we can go through that step by step. So let's go over some main items. So when is the due date to file this form? We just covered that quickly. And the due date is January 31st, 2023. For tax year before 2022, the filing due date was February 28th, but this year we have 1 month less. So we got to get prepared right now. So it's almost the end of the year. How do we file this 1099 NEC? It's actually pretty simple. You can go to the website www.irs.gov, and you can order the form and file paper filing. If you don't have more than 250 forms filing, electronic filing, you're allowed to send in a paper form. But if you prepare a lot of 1099s, then you may need to, you're required actually to file electronically through the IRS file system. So we have the website over here. You just need to log into www.irs.gov/fire to set up an account so you can electronically file a 1099 over there. Or you can also go to the irs.gov this website to file them. So what type of payment need to be reported on Form 1099 NEC? This form on box 1 is actually all the payment if you make to someone who is not your employee, if you make payment to someone who is not your employee, or is made for services in the course of your trade or business. This includes parts and material used in conjunction with the service. Meaning, if you pay someone come in to repair something in your office and you pay them $2,000 for labor, but also pay them on top of the $2,000 for material and parts, that you also need to include that in the 1099 filing amount. Unless they clearly can provide the invoices or the receipts for the parts and the material, so which treat it as a reimbursement. That is a different story. And also, if you make payment to individual, partnership, estate, attorney or lawyer, or in some cases a corporation. So not all the corporation you make payment to all the corporation, is not necessary to file a 1099 NEC to all corporation. In general, corporation you don't have to, but certain corporation you do. You do need to issue a 1099 to them. So also, there is a requirement on the amount. So if the payment made to that person or that company or at least $600 or more for the whole year, then is you required to issue them a 1099 NEC. So we have some example on box 1. What amount should be reported on Form 1099 NEC and in box 1. So here is a form. What do you need to report on them? So here's some example. Professional services fee to professional service provider, such as your lawyer, your accountant, or consultant. Those are professional services fee. And also the fees paid by one professional to another professional, meaning that if you are a accountant, you hire independent contractor come in to help you out during busy season. So they are not your employee and you're not treating them as employee for whatever reason. So the amount you pay to them, you need to report on box 1. And also if it's a commission paid to a non-employee salesperson and they did not pay you back during the year, you need to report that on box 1. Other example including payment made by attorneys to witness or experts in legal cases, or the fees paid to a non-employee or tax-free benefit paid to a non-employee, or the gross oil and gas payment for a working interest, or director fees. So if your company have directors, they are not the employees for the company, but when they come to a company for meetings, you have to pay them for their service. Those considered as director's fees, and those payments also need to be included in 1099 NEC. There are other items on the 2022 1099 NECs, such as the federal income tax withholding, state income tax withholding. Those doesn't happen often, very rarely happen, but it would happen if some payment need to be withheld, tax need to be withheld from the payment and reported. Now, let's go back to the form. Let's go through the filing one by one. Here's the Form 1099 NEC. On this box, you need to fill in the payer's information, meaning that is your information, your name, your address, and put into this box. And then the payer's TIN, that either your federal employer ID number or your social security number. The recipient's TIN, meaning that the person or the company who you pay the money to, their social security number or federal ID number. Recipient's name, so the payee's name, the payee's address, the payee city and town, and the account number. If you have a lot of 1099 filing, you may have a customer account number to put here as your reference. So some company, they may have a second TIN number, but that doesn't happen often. Now, box 1 is the non-employee compensation. Non-employee compensation is the total amount you pay to this individual or this business for the whole year, the total amount you pay. What is included in there? So we gave some example earlier, and the IRS also gave a list of the example about what should be reported on box 1. Basically, whatever number you report in box 1, the recipient, they have to put that into their tax return and treat that as the income subject to self-employment tax. Generally, the amount reportable in box 1 are subject to self-employment tax. If the payment to individuals are not subject to this tax and are not reportable elsewhere on Form 1099 NEC, report the payment in box 3 of 1099 miscellaneous. So if the payment you make to the individual doesn't subject to employment tax, that should be reported on 1099 miscellaneous. An example including professional service fee, such as fees to attorney, including corporation, accountants, architects, contractors, engineer, or fees paid by one professional to another professional, and etc., including like commission or fees paid to non-employee, basically. So on box 2, if you make payment totaling $5,000 or more of consumer product, and not the service, it's consumer products, to other people or individuals or corporation for them to resell. In this case, you need to check this box. They don't require you to put in the dollar amount, but if you do sell consumer products to other people for them to resell the products, you need to check this box. Box number 3, they haven't decided what to put in there yet, so it still remain grayed out. So box 4, if you withheld tax payment from the federal income tax from box 1, meaning, for example, you supposed to pay $10,000 to this individual, but yet you withheld 10% of the federal income tax and turn around and pay to the IRS, and that individual only collect $9,000 from you. So in that case, that $1,000 is put right here. Same thing for state income tax withheld. Some of the state require, but not often, very, very rare. So number 6 is the payer state ID number. If individual, so social security number, it's the same. This number and the recipient TIN number is the same. And if it's corporation, this one could be different. You have a state ID number. And state income most likely will be the same as number 1 right here, unless that income was performed in different states, and you can separate into different states. Maybe some of them in California, some of them in New York, then you need to separate that over here. And you can contact the state, each individual state, because they have different requirement on 1099. But the information reported on 1099 most likely will be shared with your state. So this form is actually pretty simple, and as long as you know how much you pay to non-employees for their service for the year, so then you just need to fill out all this form and submit that online through the FIRE system, or you can request a form from the IRS and send in the form as a filing, but a copy need to send to the recipient so they know what they need to report on their tax return. So that's about it for the 1099 NEC. If you have any question, you can leave a message, and we will try our best to answer your questions. Thank you.